Most people think achieving a goal is some willpower technique or motivation or relying on self-discipline. But what if I told you there was a 9-step framework to achieve any goal you want by using how your brain actually works, what I like to call neuro-linguistic programming. Now, by the end of this video, you will have the step-by-step framework in order to achieve any goal you desire, whether it's work-related, fitness-related, spiritual-related, relationship-related, and I'm going to give you the exact same framework on how to do so and how I'm currently using that right now to become a firefighter while starting a business. Now, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Sam Lovern, and I used to run a sales team, which is when I actually learned about what neuro-linguistic programming is. Now I teach others how to rewire their subconscious mind, and I'm also trying to become a firefighter. So before we get into anything, neuro-linguistic programming, I'm sure a lot of you have no idea what that is, or maybe the ones that have heard about it, have heard about it for some, sales technique, which is what I learned about it for. But neuro-linguistic programming is essentially using the language of your subconscious mind and your neural pathways to consistently achieve our desired goals and outcomes. Now, you're probably wondering, what am I supposed to do with that information, right? Well, the subconscious mind produces roughly 11 million bits of information per second, and they're all stored up here in our neural pathways, right? But the conscious mind can only process 160 to 170 of those a million bits of information per second. So someone could be sitting in the exact same place at the exact same time in the exact same room as the same person, but experience two completely different things. And that's because the subconscious is consistently absorbing everything in the environment and only giving you a very small percentage to actually process consciously. Now, that's a pretty cool thing when it comes to memory and knowing random facts off the top of your head. But there are a lot of things that our subconscious mind is dictating on a day-to-day basis that may be holding us back that we have no idea exist. So a lot of people have limiting beliefs, negative emotions that are tied to, ages 1 to 5 years old that were installed from their parents that they have no recollection of, but their subconscious brain stored it. So essentially, neuro-linguistic programming is rewiring the neural pathways in your brain in order to achieve the desired outcomes and the desired results that you want in your life. So before we get into actually achieving any goal using neuro-linguistic programming, I just want to touch a little bit deeper on what NLP actually is, just so you can have a clearer understanding and better apply the knowledge coming in a second. Now, first we have neuro, which is our mind processing experiences via our 5 senses. Now we have visual, which is what we see. We have auditory, which is what we hear. We have kinesthetic, which is what we feel. Now, these are going to be our main 3, but then we also have olfactory, what we smell, and gustatory, what we taste. And our subconscious mind is consistently making decisions and storing memories based on our 5 senses and how we react to those things to better make subconscious choices down the road in the future, because its main goal is to protect us. And so what it does is it collects data. So everything we touch, everything we see, everything we feel, it's collecting memories, it's storing reactions, it's collecting data so it can better make a protective decision for us in the future. Number 2 is linguistic, and that is all about communication, whether it's with others, whether it's with ourselves in our internal dialogue, whether it's stuff we are consuming on the TV or our phone. It is the meaning we are giving to situations and styles of communication, and then the internal dialogue that we are then setting back into our brain, right? So if you ever hear your thoughts become reality, that is 100% true, and that's why it's so important you tell yourself positive things. Because if I fail a test, right, and I'm like, oh, I'm a failure, my subconscious brain does not know right from wrong, it just knows data. And so if I keep telling myself, oh, I'm a failure, then my subconscious mind is going to be thinking through that lens and through that frame in other sectors of my life, whether I realize it or not. So I'm a failure compared to, oh, this is a learning experience, Oh, there's what else is there to learn? My subconscious mind is consistently looking through that frame of what else is there to learn? Where are the other learning experiences? And so what you tell yourself is extremely important. Now, when other people tell you things, obviously it gets stored up there, but that's why you have to have an iron mindset to kind of reframe things in your mind and understand that your internal dialogue matters a lot more than what you think, and it truly dictates all your other decisions in your life. The third one is programming. Now, think about this as just your brain being a computer. A lot of our decisions are made subconsciously, and programming is essentially the computer work behind of all of our decisions, all of our thoughts, all of our actions on a day-to-day basis that drive us whether we realize it or not. The good news is you can reprogram your computer. So let's say, for the last 5 years, I've been waking up and snoozing my alarm 6 times before I go out of bed, right? That's my programming. That's what I do unconsciously because that's just so deep in my framework, in my neural pathways, that it happens without me even realizing it every single day. Now, let's say I wanted to start waking up earlier and not snooze my alarm anymore. I would simply reprogram my brain using neuro-linguistic programming, become aware of my programming, of my meanings I'm giving things, and rewire my computer to form new software in my brain, right? And then that's how you start new habits. That's how you rewire your subconscious. It's essentially just a plug and play, and you get to decide what you want to remove and what you want to keep. And now that's what we go deeper on a one-on-one level, but that's the baseline, and it gives you a better understanding that, it's all about your awareness to your current programming and what you do to change that for your own good to achieve the desired outcomes and goals that you want. Okay, so now that you have a baseline understanding of what NLP actually is, let's apply it to a 9-step framework that will allow you to achieve any goal. And at the end, I'll actually run through the scenario just so you can get a better understanding with my own EMT certification firefighting goal. And I suggest you either take a screenshot or write this down in your notes or a notebook, just so you have this without having to come back to the video later on. Obviously, it'll be here, but to make it easier for yourself. So the first thing you're going to want to do is ask yourself, how is it possible that I don't have it right now? And really get into detail with all these questions. It's important that you kind of list everything out, even if it doesn't sound correct, because sometimes you'll catch things that you never thought of before, and it's very helpful when actually setting your goal. So how is it possible that I don't have it now? And then you're going to state in the positive, what specifically do I want? Whether it's an income goal, whether it's a physique goal, whether it's a relationship goal, what specifically do you want? And like I said, get into detail with this. Then you're going to specify the present situation. Where am I right now? And you're really just going to want to associate into this, describe in detail, your current environment right now and how that corresponds to your goal. It may not make sense, but it impacts a lot of the actual goal setting and it kind of helps you realize, what's between you and your goal. So where am I right now? Then you're going to specify your outcome. What will I see, hear, and feel once I have my goal achieved? So for some people, if they want abs, for example, it's like, oh, as soon as I look in the mirror and see 6 abs, I'll know I have abs, right? But for some people, they can already have the abs, but they won't know they have abs until they're on the beach and someone's like, oh, nice abs, dude. So everyone's got their own version of this. Really write down what resonates with you. What will you see, hear, and feel once you've achieved your goal to know that you've hit it? And then you're going to specify the evidence procedure. How will you know when you got it? Clear picture. So like I was just kind of touching on, you're going to describe what you see, hear, and feel and how you actually know you achieved it. Because some people, it's like, if I want to make 100 grand this month and I look at my bank account at the end of the month and I'm like, oh, 100 grand, great. But for some people, it's like, oh, I'll know when I hit 100 grand when I, invest this specific number, which is my percentage of investments per month into this account, into this whatever. So everyone's different. How will you know when you have achieved your goal? Is it congruently desirable? What will this get for you or allow you to do? And get into detail. What will this do for you or allow you to do? Is it self-initiated and self-maintained? Is this goal only for you? And if not, you might have to restructure it to ensure it is and it's fully in your control. That's super important because obviously when goals, have stuff to do with other people's outputs, we can't control that. But when it's self-maintained, self-initiated, we're the only one responsible. Is it appropriately contextualized? Now, this is pretty important, but where, when, how, and with whom do you want it? So really think about this, especially the how and the when, and get into detail about this part specifically when it comes to achieving your goal. Now, what resources are needed? What do you have and what do you need? Have you done this before? If not, do you know someone who has done this before? And can you act as if you already have it now? And then, is it ecological? For what purpose do you want this goal? You know, what's the reason? What's the real reason why you want to achieve this goal? Get in deep about it. And what will this do for you? What will you gain or lose by achieving it? So let's say I wanted to level up as a person, right? Or, I wanted to work more. I would gain more work, more knowledge. I would lose maybe some time with my friends. So really think about the trade-offs. And then just some basic questions to ask yourself at the end. What will happen if you get it? What won't happen if you get it? What will happen if you don't get it? And finally, what won't happen if you don't get it? Okay, so that is the framework. Let's run through it for me real quick just so you can get a better understanding. Obviously, it's not going to be in great detail, but let's just use my example of becoming a firefighter. So how is it possible that I don't have it now? Because I just recently started actually pursuing this. Before I wasn't putting in the work. I finally live in a location that I want to join the department in, and I'm still in the process of getting my EMT certification. What specifically do I want? I want to be a part of a fire department in Arizona and part of an engine crew as an EMT and fire medic and, an active member of a firehouse. Okay. Where am I right now? Specify present situation. I'm currently in my apartment making a YouTube video on neuro-linguistic programming while continuously studying for my EMT certification test and becoming the best version of myself and documenting my self-improvement journey. Specify outcome. What will I see, hear, and feel when I get it? And let's just do 4-2. How will I know when I have it? For me, it's going to be standing on stage at the end of the fire academy with my brother putting the pin right on my jacket to verify that I had just completed academy and became a firefighter. Not the last day of academy. For me, it's going to be once I get my pin, standing on stage, I will know that I have become a firefighter. Is it congruently desirable? What will this get for me and allow me to do? It will allow me to continue pursuing my passions of online coaching while helping other people and saving lives and chasing fulfillment and doing something that I've wanted to do for years now. And giving me a flexible schedule to also run my coaching business, spend time with my family, and juggle all of that together without burning out. Is it self-initiated, self-maintained? 100%. I'm in full control of doing everything to get this job when it comes to getting my EMT certification, volunteering at fire departments, preparing for my interview, all of that self-maintained, self-initiated. Is it appropriately contextualized? Where, what, how, with whom will I want it? So for me, I want it to be with my younger brother, maybe my mom and dad if they're in town, and obviously the rest of the department, the rest of the academy that I just graduated with. I want it by the end of the summer. How I'm going to do it is continuing to get my EMT certification. My national exam is in 3 weeks. I'm going to study for 4 hours a day to get there. And then after that, I'm going to volunteer at departments. I'm going to do ride-alongs. I'm going to do interview prep, and I'm going to apply to 6 different departments around the area where I live. And what resources do I have or needed? What do I have right now? I have my EMT stuff to learn all the medical side of things. Then I have to take my exam, so I have the study tools for that. Then I have a couple contacts at a couple departments where I can go do ride-alongs. What do I need? I need a few more contacts by visiting a few more departments. Do I know anyone that's done this before that can mentor me? Yes, and I have spoken to him recently. Can I act like I have it right now? Maybe if I just trim my goatee and have a handlebar mustache, yes. Otherwise, it's a little difficult, but I can get ready physically by doing hard things every single day to prepare myself, as well as reading my medical textbook. Is it ecological? For what purpose? Personal fulfillment and passion and purpose. What will happen if I do get it? I'll become a firefighter. I'll be happy with myself. I'll be following my dreams. I'll have a flexible schedule to do my coaching business. What won't happen if I get it, I probably won't see my buddies as often. I probably, won't have as much free time because I'll be, doing 48 on at the firehouse and then coming back and doing coaching all week. What will happen if I don't get it? I will continue building my coaching business. I will continue reapplying for fire department jobs until I do get one, and continue working on my personal development mentally and physically. And what won't happen if I don't get it? I won't give up. I won't resort back to only coaching. I will still pursue firefighting, even if it's at a different department, and I will continue pushing on with all the other sectors of my life. So that is the 9-step NLP framework to achieve any goal. The reason why I like this one over, brute forcing your goals or trying to willpower your way through it is because it actually aligns with how the brain actually works. And so by using these techniques and by using NLP, you can actually work hand in hand with your subconscious mind, which relieves the overall stress of yourself and also the situation, makes everything run a lot more smooth. I'm curious, what step stood out to you the most? What step were you maybe missing from your goal that you've already set? Let me know below in the comments. If you're interested in more neuro-linguistic programming techniques and tips, subscribe below. And if you're interested in daily, habits and self-improvement and my personal, routines and systems and process, follow me on Instagram. I'm posting, hours of that stuff every single day, but I hope you enjoyed. I will see you next time.